I feel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Girl Let's Agree to Disagree. I'm your host, Jessica Milagros. We are here with Busy Blue and Mr. Braden. Why, hey!
I just realized that both of our names were colors.
Oh, yeah.
Busy Blue. Busy Blue and yeah, we've been recapping this damn season all summer. How the hell did we just figure that out right now?
I get lost in his eyes.
Me, I'm just so, mesmerized every time I see him on the screen. Every time I see Jessica too, I'm like,
oh, get
out
of here. Well, for all of y'all who don't know, everybody say hi. We're really excited. We're gonna bring Claire on in a second. We are. I just wanted to tell everybody though. Yeah, just Kelsey said, tell us everything that happened last night. For those of you who don't know, Braden was with the Cookout last night, or he was with Hannah. He was with Tiffany and Kylan, and he was also with Rohan. Was Rohan, first of all, was Rohan like super enamored with Hannah?
Was Rohan super enamored with Hannah? I mean, I think that he obviously thinks she's a little cutie, of course. Who doesn't think she's a little cutie?
She's adorbs, yeah, for sure.
Obsessed, I'm obsessed with all of them, to be honest.
I mean, this whole cast is obsession central, so that's fine. So I know that the people who are here because yes, they are bringing on Claire. Just letting you all know before we do this, click like, subscribe, click to receive our notifications. This is Claire is today. Next week on Tuesday, we might have a triple. Yo, I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm not going to tell you who's in the triple.
Not the triple
because y'all need it's a triple, and I need y'all to click the receive and to receive the notifications so that you know who's coming up. And Super Chat is a great way to support us. And if you have a question for Claire, more than likely we won't see it unless you're super chatting us, because there were a lot of questions from the last one. Yes, and Jordan says we need Rohan to prosper. But okay, this isn't about him. This is about the queen. This is Queen Claire. She's actually like a literal queen. Well, actually, was she?
Period.
She was a queen. She was placed in the queen. Well, she was the queen of the queens. She was literally.
She was the queen of the queens.
She was the queen of the queens. Like she was the one who picked. She was the one who single-handedly picked her team.
We saw what you did there.
Like, did you like what I did? Did you like what I did?
Like that.
First of all, thank you, Lynn Alex. What a great all-star panel. We love Queen Claire. We do. So you know what? Without further ado, let's bring this beauty out.
Yay!
Yeah. Oh, fine.
We're not worthy.
Me neither.
Oh my God, Claire, first of all, the hair, you're giving me like this boho blonde beach, like
stunning
goddess vibe.
Yes, I went to the salon and I just showed them a photo of Alyssa. I know that she recently went blonde and I wanted that same energy. And they said, we don't have all day, but let's start this process.
Exactly. Everybody's like
the blueprint.
Yeah, everybody's like, Queen Claire, oh my God, her hair. Look, I can't do it fast enough. Because you look stunning. How? Tay the Bay just laughing. Okay, how are you? Like, I'm asking everybody because I know it's been a little over a week. How long have you been home, and how are you adjusting?
Yes, so I went home. I stayed in LA for a couple days. I went back to visit my parents and my sisters that Saturday, and then I'm actually back in New York City, where I live in my quote-unquote shitty apartment in the Upper East Side. You can tell by the DIY wall art that even though I live in the Upper East Side, I am not in a beautiful apartment. I am on a very high floor the walk-up building. So
oh my God, I hate that.
I miss those.
New York.
I'm from New York. I miss them.
First of all, I don't know. I'm not I wouldn't say I'm New York, but I've been there pretty much every other week for about 8 years of my career. So I know what you're talking about. There is no such thing as a bougie ass New York apartment because they all look shitty unless you're rich. Unless
okay,
you
that
are
part is true.
rich. You
Yeah.
gotta be
The
rich.
heights, you will walk up everything. Shout out to Flatbush.
And you live not. You said where you said, and so I'm thinking that you live probably close to Ovi and Claire and Hannah Claire.
I might. I actually haven't really talked to them, and which is surprising.
Yeah, she does.
So I'll have
Chrissy
to.
said, I know her address, and she lives right next door.
Well, what she said, I know where Ovi and them live, but
Well, New York is big, but she kind of said the same neighborhood, so I would assume. Thank you, Karen, for the super chat. She says, we're not worthy of this queen. I hope you have an amazing first day of work tomorrow.
you go back to work tomorrow?
Yes,
You are bold.
I've decided, work was I was so fortunate to get 3 months off of work. Like, I think I'm really in a position of, having a fantastic job and so much privilege being able to keep my work and still go on the show, do embarrassing things, be dressed up in a card costume for a week, cry on national television, and they still want to keep me. So I am in a good spot there and I don't want to blow it up. So I'm going back to work tomorrow, just continuing on with my life.
Are you ready? Are you scared? Are you nervous? Or you're diving right back in?
Yeah, it is very overwhelming. I checked my work computer briefly and I have a lot of work, Teams messages being like, I watched you on the show. I'm like, oh God. Great. Good networking, I guess. How high are you or how high up are you at this company? Should we get coffee? It's very nerve-wracking, jumping back into everything, being off the show. When you're on the show, you have no idea if you're liked, if you're hated, if you're getting a bad edit, if you're getting a good edit. And so it's just a lot to dive in and be on social media and see everything. But I also find that I think work's going to be very grounding for me and getting back into a routine, getting back into, a 9 to 5 will be really good.
Yeah, I think I give you props because I could I really could not think about going back to work that early coming out of the season. It just takes so much time to adjust. So good for you.
Yeah.
But I also think that you are kind of a special. I don't know why I always looked at you like she's such a special case because so this is gonna be the fangirl in me. Check me out. Okay, so I was in love. Well, here's the thing. I love the crazy thing is that I love everybody. Okay, I'm lying. I don't love everybody. But I do love a majority of this cast. A good majority of this cast. If not, I'm still super respectful of nothing bad to say. For little bits and pieces of just things that a lot of people, have issues with. However, with you, I obviously was just I love her. She's, first of all,
Queen Claire.
Bless the Lord. Bless the Lord and God Almighty for the fact that you were able to play this season, because I think it, a lot of people know that you were an alternate. And so I'm so happy that you got to play this, but also because you were such a Big Brother, stan. But not just that. You're a big, so tell me.
Where is the book?
Where
Everyone, where is the book?
I brought it.
She's prepared.
I'm prepared. This isn't the full book, actually. It should be thicker than this.
This is Spark
but this is what I actually used to prep, and I ripped out all my strategy pages so I could have them to study up until I walked into the house, and they wanted to take it from me. But yes.
Okay, so you guys I was able to ask. Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
I love that.
Book.
How different was it? You being such a super fan and then coming inside of the house.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, like you said, I just am an aggressive live feeder. I watch Big Brother Canada. I was watching Big Brother Canada as I was going through this audition process. I just am such a fan of the show. I've watched the UK ones. I've watched the Australian ones. I just am a live feeder. And that was a lot coming on the show because partially I like really know what do fans want, what do fans expect. Very rarely do you have like such a huge live feeder on the actual show. So I knew that like even getting on this show was so like a one-off, being an alternate and then, you know, something happening and getting on the show. And then I did so much prep for it. And when you get in, people really say, you know, I'd heard your strategy goes out the window, and going into it and then seeing, okay, now it's teams. Half the things I have in here isn't relevant anymore.
Were you going into your season 14 section? You have that?
I really should have rewatched 18. Like I didn't rewatch 18. I'm like, where are my teams? Like I needed 14. I needed all these seasons. And I was just like, it'll be like, they won't do that. Like, why would they do that again? But it was way, way harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be able to go in there and be like a game bot and just worry about strategy and cut people's throats and stab in the back. And then like I got in there and all my friends have been like, you were so much more loyal than we thought you were going to be. And it's like, yeah, you just really develop friendships and relationships in there, and your friends in there are your lifeline in the game. You don't want to get rid of them because you just enjoy them so much. Yeah. And you're so stressed so much of the time that you don't realize how important those bonds are when you're watching the show versus when you're in there.
Absolutely.
Fully.
I agree with you 1000%. Let's go into like, thank you, Jordan, for the super chat. Yes. What is it that drew you to Tiff and become so close from day one? Like everybody loves your friendship with Tiff.
Yeah,
I personally loved it. I feel like if I was on the show, like I probably would have been you in that situation. I was just kind of like, yes, like I loved her. And I mean, it wasn't just like that you were naturally drawn to her because you chose her to be a part of your team. So what was it about Tiff that drew you into her?
It's actually funny. I don't think I've told this story. Maybe we talked about it on feeds. I feel like it might be something they cut. So before you're actually walk on stage, you're in little rooms on the CBS lot, just sitting, waiting, nervous. And then they start pulling you one by one to go on stage. And so we were in the last 4 group to go up there, and Tiffany was in my group. So I exited my little room and I got in a golf cart and they were going to drive us, and I see Tiffany. So Tiffany's the very first person I saw on the cast. And I looked at her and she like looked so cute. She like had her dress on and she like tossed me a little wink. And I was like, I'm going to ride with this girl. That was basically what it was.
That's all it took.
I love that.
But like, I am a believer of like fate and, you know, something coming together. And so like we went up and we were on stage and we all moved in together. And in my head, I get good vibes from this woman right off the bat. And I know coming in the game, I wanted to have a ride or die. I wanted to just have one person that I could just trust. And I was just going to put my game into. And if they screwed me, they screwed me. And that was Tiffany. And I decided that the very first day. And I was really hoping when we were picking teams, I was so happy. Really, my peak was the very first episode. The captain's comp. It was downhill from there. But I came on so strong. And then I was such a big threat. And then I was like, you guys just wait till you see me on the ropes. Like, wait till you see me on the wall. I'm not a threat. I swear. I'm very tall, but do not worry about me. But I was just so wanting to pick her for my team, and then I had the ability to pick her for my team. And so I was like, I have to do this, and picked her up. And then we really got to talking that night. And I just felt like that first week, we thought about the game so similarly, in the ways that we wanted to make alliances, in the ways that we were both very strategic, in the ways that, like, if you looked at us on paper, like if I'm standing next to Tiffany, we couldn't be more different. We just couldn't be, but we are just very similar people. We value very similar things. We think about the game very similarly. And I was just so drawn to that. And she's just also such a good game player. If someone's that good, you definitely want to be working with them versus against them. So I just picked her up, and well, she picked me up as well, and we ran together.
Do you feel like you're so different? I feel like you guys are so similar. You ladies are so similar.
Well, I think it's more like if you like look at us on paper, like Tiffany is, like 21. I am 25. Like she is a Black woman that lives in Detroit. Like I am a white girl that lives in New York City. Like I work in tech, she works in healthcare. Like we just are very different. If you just look at, she's a single mom. I am, whatever. And so I'm a bisexual vegan. Like we just are very different. But like beyond all the surface level, then Busy, that is really when we're so similar.
I have to say though, like seeing your two relations, and this is where I say like, okay, because I have a love-hate relationship with the live feeders see everything. Claire, do you now believe this?
That the live feeders see everything?
Yeah.
I think it's tricky. I think during points in the game, I was like, there's no way the live feeds can capture this, because I know that there are 3 game conversations happening in this house. Like I would be having a one-on-one with someone, and I'm like, I know that there's a big group in the HOH room and there's other groups other places. But I think that the live feeds see the overall arching everything that's happening. I think maybe there will be some conversations that are like off of feeds, but I think live feeders understand the arc of everything really, really, really well.
No, I agree with that aspect. I just think that it's kind of, sometimes in the chats that everybody's kind of like, oh, she's totally going to do this because this is how she feels and this is what's happening. And I mean, even though you would say some things in live, like in the live, like talk, and talk to the cameras, obviously there was just so much gameplay your season. Like I was expecting a lot of this gameplay, to be quite honest, from someone like you, but it seemed like the cameras weren't as interested. Everything was always going, toward the cookout, because it was always, it was always a game conversation. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, I know we're missing it's like, we have to be missing a ton. We have to be missing a ton, because there's no way that Claire's just sleeping somewhere.
Yes.
Yes. I think I was I think I took the least amount of naps out of everyone in the house. I was always trying to have at least some conversation with people. But yeah, and I think that the live feeds probably know what conversations are going to matter and which aren't. And they probably prioritize that as well. But I think this season was just very, very rapidly changing. So there would be some days I would talk to kids, and then the next day I would think something totally different. Or even like 2 weeks leading up to my eviction, so like one day I would be convinced that I could win the game. And then the next day I would think, there's no way I'm going to win this game. I might as well be playing for Tiffany or Chada to win this game. And then the next day I would say, maybe I think I could win this game. And so your mind just changes so much and so frequently. And there was just so many game conversations happening at a time that I think it's tricky to know what is the true narrative, because also in conversations, I think 60% of my conversations I was having, I was somewhat lying to whoever I was talking to. And same with them to me. And when you're watching live feeds and you see a quote, or like you're looking at Twitter and you see a quote, it can be taken somewhat out of context. And I know this as a live feeder, where someone would say, oh, this is what this person said. And then I want to respond and be like, well, actually, it was in this conversation, they were lying. And then they said this 1 hour later. So I think it's tricky if you're not really up to date on like watching the feeds of what's really happening.
Yeah.
I felt like the edit gave you the Achilles heel or the kryptonite to you were the kryptonite to the cookout. I felt on so many episodes, so many weeks, Claire is about to take it down. She's going to change this game. She is going to move it. Was that really your plan a lot of the time? Sometimes I was like, Claire's about to figure it out. She's gonna take DX, and they're about to now take over and change the whole game.
For real.
And I was afraid of that.
Literally.
Well, I think it's weird. Like, I wasn't blind in it. Like, I know that, like, I saw a clip of X, like, being mad that, like, Alyssa told Claire she's the last white person. Like, I can't believe this. Like, I was aware of that. Like, I could see the trend that was happening, but the thing is, like, they just disguised it so well. At certain points, I was like, okay, it's, I know Brittany's going to be a target. Sarah Beth is going to be a target. Alyssa, me. Like, I could see that there might be a trend going, but at the same time, like, I was just so convinced by Tiffany, by Chada, that they just weren't working with Kyland, even like with Big D, with Azza. Like, they would just get in fights, and I couldn't see, like, okay, but how would they be working together? So at certain points, I think I was close, but I needed to, like, I left the house and I still didn't think that the Cookout existed. Like, I was still like, they probably have deals and, like, probably are, like, have an agreement, but, like, is there an alliance? No, I don't think so. So, like, as much as I did have those conversations and I felt like maybe, no, I did not know, and was, like, too afraid to say it or anything. I got played, and it was very admirable. BB. It was just good Big Brother.
Yeah.
True.
How did it feel being played though? Like, were you like, yes, I got played, this is Big Brother? Or were you like, damn, this fucking sucks? Like,
it's tricky because it also came into, like, Tiffany told me what was sort of happening, right? Mm-hmm. And so after I got
that was a hard scene.
Like, I cried.
Yeah, it was such a hard episode.
Yeah, it was. Just a hard conversation to have in general, and to know. Okay, afterwards, I was like, oh wait, live feeds probably just saw all that, and that's probably going to be on the show. So, like, when she was telling me that, I was shocked and I was really surprised. But I also, like, talking with her and understanding, okay, this is why she's doing it. Like, I couldn't fight what she was doing, and I think that she had to make the hardest decision out of everyone in the Cookout of putting up her pawn, putting up her tightest person outside of the Cookout. And I just think that's very admirable. And then once I got to jury and we all compared notes, they had already figured out the Cookout by the time that I got there. It was like, whoa, what? Are you kidding me? And, like, we were, like, talking and we're like, oh my gosh, they're all working together. That's wild. And there was probably, like, 24 hours later when at least I was like, we were all in duos. Like, there was this whole other plan happening. Like, I was just like, oh, okay, like, the 6 Black players are all just in alliance together. Nice. And then 24 hours, I was like, this is genius. Like, this is just good. Like, we do just target each other. Like, this is amazing. And by the time, like, before Tiffany came, we had all basically talked and been like, whoever came up with this master plan, or we didn't know it was called the master plan, but whoever came up with, like, the duos idea of it will just win this season. Like, that is just amazing. Like, that is so smart. Whoever that was, we were like, maybe it was X, like maybe Kyland, like maybe Tiffany. And then by the time Tiffany got there and told us, like, that she had really devised the duos aspect, I was like, this is legendary. Like, this will just change the game moving forward. Everyone is going to try to replicate this and replicate Tiffany's strategy. And I think that that is just amazing and, like, truly an honor, even though I was duped, to be part of a season where the gameplay and strategy just evolved so much. Like, I think that's just very fun.
Yeah. Was there any animosity? So Tony says, were you mad at Tiff for saying that she wasn't in an alliance when she really was? Like, was there any animosity?
Honestly, no, because even when I was asking Tiffany that, I knew that she wasn't going to tell me. And also, I won't be mad about this. I really talked about this a lot with Tiffany and Chada in the jury house, because they were really worried that I was going to be mad that they lied to me. But I don't feel like that at all. And I'm so glad that they didn't tell me, because honestly, having that false hope and having the thought process of there still might be a chance for me, I could still fight. enabled me to pitch into campaign, because like when I was doing DX on the block, like I didn't campaign. Like I never really had to campaign in the game, and campaigning was a big section in my notebook. So I wanted to know, how would I do?
What is your campaigning like process?
Draft,
When you're what is that? What does that look like?
I would have to look at my text. Like I said, I ripped out a lot of the strategy, but it was really throw people under the bus if you have to. Do not be lovey-dovey with whoever you're on the block next to. Start fights if you have to, which really I almost tried to start a fight with Alyssa. I was going to start a fight with Tiffany. It was like, figure out, craft a campaign to each individual person. If they just kind of brush you off, or if they say they have to think about it or whatever, they're not going for you.
Exactly.
If they're not giving you some reassurances, then they're probably really not going for you. That was basically my campaign section, but it was much longer. Those are the points I really remembered. But so I'm glad that I got the chance to do that and campaign. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, so Abby Presses, what's the reasoning behind you laying so low in the beginning after winning that first competition?
Yes, this is a very good question. I kind of wanted to lay low. That was always going to be my strategy going into the game, because I knew that I wasn't going to be like the loudest person in the house. And I just don't really have that aggressive of a personality. So I wanted to lay low, be able to get through the first couple of weeks, focus on just having social relationships, and then be able to kick it into gear. And I also really came in the game. My biggest point that I had coming in the game was that I wanted to be working with 3 people. I wanted to be working with someone who was better physically than me. I wanted to work with someone who was more strategic than I was. And I wanted to work with someone that was smarter than me. And I really had that in DX, Kyland, and Tiffany. And then I had it in DX, Chada, and Tiffany. So I was always happy with like the trio I was with, because I thought, if I'm on the block next to any of them, I have a campaign to say, look, they're more physical than me. Look, they're smarter than me. Look, they're more strategic than me. And I thought that that would be able to get me through the weeks. So that was part of me laying low. And then also in the first week, Tiffany comes up to me and says, girl, they are all worried about you. You are so tall. They see you as a physical threat. We need to cover up these legs. She was like, hide the legs, bust out the sweatpants. And so I started wearing my sweatpants all the time. I didn't wear shorts until like week 4. And I would just really try to be like goofy and silly. And like, I am a goofy person. I am a silly person, but I would really try to play it up to people so that they would just be like, why do we think she was this physical threat? Which really they shouldn't have thought. I wouldn't have won a lot of these comps anyways, despite being 6 feet tall. I do yoga. I'm not sprinting, unfortunately.
But you were you did play sports, didn't you? Did you say you were in volleyball?
Yes, and and I really conveyed that to them during casting as well. How many sports I did, my physical prowesses. Yes, I did volleyball, I did swimming, I did like shot put, but I didn't play it in college. They wanted me to sort of come in and lie and say I was a professional beach volleyball player. And I'm very glad that I didn't do that, because that really would have been embarrassing. And no one would have believed that after they saw my bum set veto volleyball performance.
That would have been that. They really would have figured it out. It would be almost comparing X to being a bartender.
Exactly. Or we were really convinced that Brent wasn't a flight attendant either. Like we were like,
really?
Oh, that was just a given. It was just a given that Brent wasn't a flight attendant, and it was a given that X wasn't 27. Like we just had these conspiracies that we were just genuinely, like it wasn't even a topic of conversation. We're like, well, obviously Brent's not the flight attendant. Obviously X is 30. Like, we just were so convinced by these things in the house.
Wow. Did you ever feel like, because you were like such a big fan, that like there was a lot of pressure on you, because like you knew from like the whole like Twitter world? They were like, I need to make big moves. I need to do things for the people.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think so, but also like I did just sort of have that pressure on myself also coming in the
Okay.
game. But I definitely knew that there would be people that would see me like me as a super fan. I'm always rooting for the person that I know watches live feeds, just because I'm like, this is me. I'm going to now project my game that I would want to do onto them. So I definitely felt some pressure, but I was also just so focused on trying to win that even though I knew, oh, maybe people would want me to turn on this, or people would want me to do this, or people might not be happy if I do this. You can't worry about that in the game. I was just so trying to win the game. And I knew, it might be boring, but sometimes a winning gameplay is a boring gameplay. And that is unfortunate for viewers, but something that I was very aware of.
Yeah. So the big thing here was really your invisible HOH. And we talked about this. For those who haven't watched it, you can go into our interviews. She kind of talks about it a little bit more in depth. But, just because people are wondering, why didn't you change your noms?
It's tricky. I think this is the question that I really don't want to do any like revisionist history on, right? It would be very easy to say like, oh, well, I would have done Kyland and Big D. There was no way that I would have put Kyland and Big D up there. There just wasn't, because the thing is, like, at that point, I did want X out of that game because I knew he was playing such a good game, but he was the third nominee. And so I couldn't see any combination of people that I could put up to get X to leave the game. But then also, it was Tiffany's HOH. And I did just really, really trust Tiffany in the game. And I knew that Sarah Beth leaving wasn't going to be best for my game, but it was Tiff, and she really, really had wanted to win an HOH. I felt really bad for potentially overtaking her HOH. And I was just so focused on, look, Tiff, she was so upset after the Veto Derby. She played in Veto Derby for me, and she didn't do well, and she was so upset by that. She was so upset by Name That Croon. Like, she wanted to win one of these so bad that I just wanted to respect that. Hindsight 2020, but that was really the purpose behind it. If it had been anyone else, maybe if Sarah Beth had won the veto and taken herself off, then maybe I would have thought about doing Big D. But it was just tricky with it being Tiff's HOH.
Of course.
How did you feel in jury? Like, because like jury is such a different experience, right? Like after a while, like once you've done all you can and you're just like, woo, child, I'm leaving, I'm done, I'm over this. And then you go and you actually get to know your fellow housemates. Like, how did you feel with that experience?
Jury was amazing. Jury was so much fun because you really get there and you realize, oh, everyone is just nice. Like, everyone is just kind of cool. Like, in the game, I didn't trust Sarah Beth. I didn't trust Alyssa. And you get to the jury house and you're like, oh, they are just really nice people. Like, they just are good people. Why didn't we work together in the game? Why was there so much mistrust and paranoia? And it was just really, really nice. And of course, we had a lot. You're not supposed to talk game, and they would really break up game talks a good amount. But we also would just run scenarios, especially the first few days that you're there.
In jury?
In jury, we would be like, okay, but like in the past, we would be like, okay, Coin of Destiny. Okay, what could we have done differently about Coin of Destiny? Okay, Sarah Beth, let's talk about your week in the roulette wheel. And okay, who would you have done this? Like, was there any chance of us getting through it? And like, I think I stayed up with Sarah Beth until like 3 a.m. one night, just me and her talking and being like, why didn't we work together? What could we have done differently? Why was there this mistrust? What could there have been? And which was so, so nice. And I really, really appreciate that time being with those people and just being able to be real and say, look, we're going to see what happened on the feeds when we get out. Let's just be real with each other here and reconnect and rebuild trust in our friendship. And then like really figure out what happened. And so it was really nice. And I would say that I was like the mayor of jury. So I really enjoyed it. Like if jury had been the game, like I do like to think that I would have won it. Because I was in charge of all the board games. I was in charge of making popcorn every night. And I was kind of like the therapist on site a little bit. Yes. And so I had a blast in Jury House.
At that point, did everybody already know your profession and that you were a major, like, Big Brother stan?
Yes, I once I got there, I told them all. DX spilled the beans before I even got there to Sarah Beth and to Brittany. You don't have much to talk about, so you really are like, oh, what secrets do I have that I can share? And so they already knew. And then once Chada came in, I don't think you guys saw this, but Chada telling us about her being a super genius. She told us there, and I told her what I did, and we both were like so excited about us being nerds and women in STEM. And then Tiffany telling us that she really runs her business. We were all just so excited and so happy, and like so proud of each other, which is really, really nice. But I also told them all there that I was an alternate, and so then everyone was like, because I think the only person that knew that in the house was Azza, I told. And I didn't tell anyone else. And so then they were also like, oh my gosh, what? Like, that is so wild.
Why Azza?
Huh?
Why Azza?
Me and Azza really had a good friendship. I don't think this is ever shown on the feeds, but Azza was one of my tightest people in that house. And Azza told me actually about her job and what she actually did, being like head of sales op at this startup, which is amazing. And then I knew that Azza, I don't actually know if I should say this, Azza was actually an alternate as well. And she had told us that in the house. And so I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but she talked about it in the house.
We'll forget it.
If she talked, I would always say, even if they didn't show it, if she talked about it in the house, that's already giving like people would know.
Be okay.
Be okay.
True, yeah.
Yeah, and so I wanted to, and I had never said anything because she would bring it up in conversations, and I never said anything back. So she told me a secret, and I wanted to tell a secret back to her to kind of bond. And I think maybe this is the week after Brittany left. And so then I told her I was an alternate, and we really bonded over that as well.
I have no idea. I would never have assumed that you were that tight with Azza.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, there were people that are saying like feed watchers love the Claire and Azza friendship.
Wow.
Yeah, like Azza, like I would say like the week that it was me and DX on the block, I knew like, because DX also had a really good friendship with Azza. Like me and DX joked at Jury House, like, why didn't you, me, and Azza link up? Like, that would have been a trio. I think we had that conversation, me and DX, once in the house. Like, maybe we should have a side alliance with Azza. But it never came to fruition. Me and Azza didn't talk that much game in the house, but I felt like our social bond was tight enough that if push came to shove, Azza would like, well, I thought at the time Azza would pick me over Tiff. That's what I was always trying to optimize for. But me and DX and Azza just like rode hard for each other.
Yeah, and it makes sense when you think about it, because your season had a ton of alliances, so it was just like very hard for us to kind of put everything together, because y'all were just making alliances left and right like it was nobody's business. We're just like, which one's the real one, what's not? I mean, literally the Cookout was the only one that we knew for sure was gonna happen, and then everything else just seemed very loose for us. So in your mind, what were the your alliances that you actually was like, these are my alliances, these are the real alliances in Claire's mind?
Ooh, good question.
It's funny. It changes based off the week. So I knew going into, for me, it was always me and Tiff. That was like the only alliance I really cared about. At certain points, I think week 3, we formed the detectives. And already at that point, I didn't really trust Kylan that much. And so it would really depend. And then by the end of the game, it was just like me, DX, Tiff, and Chada, the unnamed alliance. But I just felt like, okay, we're just going to look out for each other. We don't need to put a name on this. Clearly, we're so tight anyways. At certain points, I knew the royal flush when we made it, that it was not going to be a long-term thing. Just because I partially didn't want it to be, and we had already had a few conversations of like, maybe we should target Christian and Alyssa. The Kings are just really strong. That I knew that wasn't possibly going to be that long term. But I also knew that how I was positioning myself, I would be better with a lot of alliances that they think are tight than me. Like at one point, me and Tiff looked at each other and we're like, we're floaters. We are in all of these alliances. We don't really have firm loyalty to anyone. Tiffany did, but I never really did, other than to Tiffany. So it's tricky to know, what's the real alliance when really it was Tiffany. It would have been DX. It would have been Chada for as long as possible, but who knows what the end game would have looked like.
Yeah, well, now you break my heart because I'm here thinking like Queen Claire's going to create this all-female alliance.
I just
Queen
know
Claire,
she would.
I knew because like you said like how much you wanted like strong female players, in this game. So here it goes.
Yeah.
Jessica, the man hater asking about the female alliances. So Claire, that's what a lot of people like to call me, obviously. But in your perception, like you had a ton of strong women in your house. Like, was that a thought process? Like, was the jackpot real? Was, anything that you tried to establish with the women something you would have gone long haul with?
Oh, absolutely. Like Kingslayers was my very first alliance, and I would have been loyal to the Kingslayers. I think at week 3, Tiffany started, I think after the master plan was formed, Tiffany started throwing out Brittany's name. And I was always trying to be protective of Brittany because we were in this alliance. We never talked that much game because I never really knew where Oz's head was at, where Brittany's head was at. But like when Brittany was on the block, like I wanted to keep Brittany so firmly and try to work with Brittany and Ozza and Tiff and myself. But I also knew at the time that there was some sort of disconnect between Tiffany and Ozza. So I knew that me and Brittany would have had to have been the go-between between both of them. And so I never wanted to be in a potentially unstable relationship or alliance. Jackpot was very real up until week 3 when Kylan let it slip to Tiffany that he knew about the jackpot. And then Tiffany told me. And then from that point on, I knew that any information or any conversation I had with Sarah Beth would potentially be run back to Kylan. And then by the time that we got deeper in, I just felt like a lot of the women had stronger relationships with the guys in the house. Alyssa with X, Sarah Beth with Kylan. Could I have tried something? Probably. But I just couldn't really see how can we form something so new. It's the power of the duo. I didn't ever want to just go to the one person because I felt like the information would have been run back to the duo in the guy. I would have loved to have an all girls alliance. I really wanted to, but it is just tricky how they set it up that it couldn't quite come to fruition.
Oh wait, let's thank Nerdtainment. Nerdtainment, thank you for the super chat. Sending my love and support. Y'all are icons. Sarah, I don't know if you know Claire or Sarah from Nerdtainment.
I think I have seen her about. She just recently did an interview with Tiffany on Friday. Definitely someone that you would want to check out. Anybody who doesn't follow her, Sarah has amazing. Actually, she recaps all of the survivors too. She's a Survivor super fan. It's right up your alley. Gotta link you two up because you could totally do some recapping for this. And I know that you're already caught up with the Survivor season as of right now. Yes. Yes, very caught up, very invested.
Yeah.
Look at your DMs. I'm sure she wants to interview you. We got you, Sarah.
I would definitely suggest all of that. So what's up with Claire? So tomorrow you start work.
Yes.
Right? Oh my goodness. I still can't get over it.
I have one question.
Yes,
Honestly, hot girl shit.
yes, tomorrow I am starting back up. Going to be on the team, my team call, like back, trying to get back to it, get back to working. Looking forward to it.
Go ahead, Busy.
Okay, so.
Oh no. Oh no.
I just wanted some clarification and to help. I feel like a lot of people felt this way, but when Tiffany talked to you about like what was going on with the cookout and how you may be leaving tomorrow, I felt so bad. I actually teared up. I know a lot of people were crying, but then the next day when you walked out, it was just like F all y'all. Okay, so
no, literally.
It was like I'll hug you guys.
Don't
later.
touch me.
Don't touch
Please
me.
Please give me my bag, girl. And I'm out the house. What was your mindset during that time? Because that was the only time that I was like, oh, I don't like Claire no more. So what was your mindset during that time?
Busy's a hugger.
I am. I'm like, please, what's going on?
No, that is understandable. So before that, I hugged Tiffany goodbye. I hugged Chada goodbye. I try to give them all my like puzzle tips and tricks of like, here's how you win the final 3 HOH. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. Which I know live feeds don't catch that. And I told them I'm not hugging anyone on my way out. And the reason why I didn't want to hug anyone is because, look, we're hugging after nominations. I haven't been nominated. Why are you hugging me? Like, we don't need to do this. It's so awkward. Culture. It's like me and Ozza hugging, like neither of us on the block. Like, what can you do? And like, I'm not a super affectionate person. I'm just not really a hugger. And I had to really become a hugger and a cuddler in this house to like blend in. But I also knew like, you're never that sad to send someone out. Like, you're a little sad. You're like, I'm sorry. I know you're disappointed, but you're also like lit. Like, I'm through the next.
God bless.
Your head is like in the game for HOH. Like, you're already thinking like, what are they going to look like in black and white? Like, they don't really care that much. And so I was like, I'll see you on finale night. I have no ill. I think I said like, I'll see you guys then. I'll hug you then. Like, I had no ill will, but why not make them sweat a little bit? Like that was how I could kind of have a little bit of the power leaving the house.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we just want to recognize Queen Kemi here.
Queen Kemi.
Queen Kemi says Claire's hair looks so healthy.
I had to have someone else brush it. That's the other thing. Like, I'm really like, man, my eviction night look was not it.
No, Queen, you looked great. Your finale, I was just like,
okay,
oh my
finale night.
Finale, yes.
Love finale night. We hate the eviction night look, but I had been crying. I like was campaigning till I sat down. I just didn't. I was like, I've lost the game. Like, I was really just on this show for the game. And I'm like, maybe I should have cared a little bit more. But also, oh well. I thank you though, Kemi, so much. I am obsessed with you.
Yeah, well, a lot of us are obsessed with her, but I love that she's just like creeping in the comments, just looking at your hair.
She said, let me check on this girl's hair real quick.
Kemi, you didn't say anything about my hair. No.
So your hair's not healthy.
My hair's not. No, my hair's not healthy. I would.
How dare you?
It looks fantastic.
What? Whose?
Your hair.
Oh wow! Thanks. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get done for Vegas this week. That's the big party. So I'm just gonna. I don't know. I might just do you and Alyssa. I'm gonna try to be the third sister. Yes, because I have highlights, but I can just go for a few.
Blondes have more fun. Maybe me and Busy will also go blonde.
Oh my god, I definitely would. I'll go blonde for her birthday. Oh my god, I'll be in Vegas with blonde hair.
Oh my god,
blonde for my birthday. That's gonna be a thing, and nobody can come unless they're blonde. Claire, you're invited.
Yes.
I'll be at work,
But she's got to work.
Do you have any plans of like, because we've talked to a couple of house guests and they're like, look, I'm going to have people here. I know that Alyssa's going to have people there for Halloween this year. So do you have any plans of like meeting up with everyone or some type of party or being the social butterfly? Everybody come to New York and I'll show you computers.
Yes, I think there have been talks of potentially people coming here for New Year's Eve. I definitely want to. The thing is, I just do genuinely enjoy this cast. Like, I just really do love everyone. Like, there might have been like, you know, people that you don't get along with as well in the house, but outside of the house, it really is just cool people. And so I would love to see a lot of them as soon as possible. Of course, I want to head up Halloween with Liz, go down to Sarasota, see what's up. I might be in LA sooner than later. I don't really know. We're gonna find out. We're gonna see.
Sooner than later. People have been messaging on these chats like they know when you're leaving. They said like that you're going to be there this week.
Yes, I might be going to LA this week. I think it's still a little up in the air, but you know, the FOMO has really been kicking in. You know, I saw Brayden there last night and I said, why am I not there? So I might go through, and I know that
you start work tomorrow. How does it even work?
You know,
You can work remotely.
Don't blow up my spot. I can. There's flights. You can work from the plane. I'm gonna make it work. We're gonna see.
You are all queen energy right now because I'm thinking like if I had to work, how the hell am I going to be able to make any of that work? But if you got it out, it's like bow down to Queen Claire because she could do it. Absolutely. Well, if y'all are in the, I told Tiff too. I was like, if y'all, because usually after Big Brother season, everybody goes to Vegas, they party, you know, they kind of do everything. And I was telling Tiffany and Hannah and them, I was like, y'all, I'm going to be in Vegas on Friday. I'm going to be with James Ryan. We're going to do a party in Vegas. So if anybody is in and around the area, come through. I probably shouldn't even say this on live.
Literally, I'm like,
actually, we won't be doing that.
Negative, we're not doing that.
That's the room I'm staying at. This is the room number.
This is our room we're staying in. This is the hotel.
We'll be here between these times.
We'll edit this out.
We'll edit. I think I will. I never claimed to be a professional journalist. I literally just came out of the damn house 2 years ago. Okay, like that. For real. No, but seriously, y'all are
My
invited.
boyfriend is giving Claire money.
Yes. So this is Tay the Bay. Tay the Bay is like hi. And he just wants to say hi.
What a cutie.
Such a
He's
great
a
interview. I love you, Claire.
Loves Claire.
Was Claire Tay's fave?
I think she was his second fave. It was everybody in STEM.
Because he is he's an IT guy.
I love
that.
I love it. Yeah, you are so. Were you surprised at what were you surprised about? You know, when Julie said all of these surprises of like people. Were you surprised at any of this? What were you the most surprised about?
It's true. I think I was truly shocked of like Chada being 21 in our master's program, having excelled through high school, excelled through college. That was really surprising to me. I didn't really learn anything that new on finale night other than X being a lawyer. But even that, I felt like wasn't that big of a shock, you know?
You're like, oh, thank you for confirming things that we had already talked about.
Yeah, like I feel like we had a suspicion there. Sarah Beth being a forensic chemist, she told us that in jury, and I just thought that was like the coolest thing. Like that just is a rad job. Brittany being like a black belt in karate, she didn't even tell us that in jury. So that I was like, wait, what? Like, wait, what does that mean? Like, what? Like, I remember me and her were doing like a boxing class with Big D, and she was so much better than me. And I was like, man, I just must really suck at this. Like, I'm really not athletic. Like, are people seeing this? Like, I'm not a threat. Little did I know that she's a professional boxer, like a black belt. Like,
wow. Brittany is just so impressive on so many levels. Fully. If you see like everything that I was like, whoa. And the fact that she was able to keep all of that a secret. Like y'all didn't know she was a black belt. Y'all didn't know about,
her
autism. Yeah.
autism.
Yes.
Oh, and that was really surprising to me as well. But I just have so much admiration for her. She actually told us so many other things about her in Jury House. And we were like, Brittany, what? Like, why did you tell us so much about tennis and not about all these other wild things? Like, she was almost a Disney Channel star. Like, she was valedictorian of her college and like was rated like the most social, most popular. And that had never happened in the history of her college. Like, Brittany is like an amazing individual, like someone you're like, how are you real? And she just is like so genuinely herself. Like her energy, her excitement, her like passion for life is just very, very genuinely Brittany. I love Brittany so much.
Yeah.
So are we hearing that you gave 100% in every comp, or were there some that you threw?
No, I was throwing it left, right, and center. The one comp that people don't know that I threw, that I just aggressively threw, was named that croon. When it was me and Brittany first up, and I hit the button, and I think it was Massive Cocktail, and I hit it, and I said it was HOH. And before that comp, I talked to Brittany. We knew we were going to be the first ones going up. And I knew that this was going to be a show your cards challenge. And I did not want to show my cards. I did not want to have to choose between Alyssa and S or Kyland and SB. And so I looked to Brittany and I said, Brittany, who would you put up? And she said, Kyland and Sarah Beth. And I said, I'm going to throw it to you. And she said, no, don't do that. Let's just compete. Let's just see. And I said, okay. And we go up there and they start playing the song. And I'm like, oh, it's Massive Cocktail. It's obviously Vito. And I'm like, kind of like, okay, Brittany, like tap in. And she's not tapping in. And I'm like, she's trying to throw this. I'm not going to let her throw this. And so I hit the wrong button. So I have to force her to move on. And I don't think that they said that was a throw, but that was me being like, I do not want to do this. Like, I will not show my cards. You literally cannot make me do it. Hindsight, like that was a comp I needed to win. Like, and then I felt really bad because Brittany ended up going home supposedly because of that, because she put up Sarah Beth and Kyland. So I really had to apologize to her in Jury House, but that is one of the mini comps that I threw.
Look at that. And see, Christina says, oh my God, I thought Claire just sucked at that. Here you have it. This is the real tea. Girl, let's agree to disagree. You know, you gotta, which ones were thrown and which ones weren't. That's the beauty of this. That's amazing. Well, I mean, yeah, what you said, and a lot of people, I think we don't get to see that. And that's one of the things that are why I love talking to y'all post season and watching these interviews, because it's sometimes you just think, oh, she was doing this and she just didn't know, and this was going on, and this was and it's like, no, people that are in the game, they genuinely you play the game, and it's and sometimes playing the game is laying low and it looks like you're not doing anything, or it does look like, well, if we think that she was dumb enough to not say the very obvious question and we believed it, maybe that's why she was trying to do that. That means she's a good actress. And, she's a good actor, and she was able to fool everybody else into thinking that she didn't throw the comp, because a lot of people do that. I mean, there was a lot of comp throws on your season. It was actually a little, are you?
That's what they say.
That a lot of people said that they threw out a lot of comps, but we did know some of them.
That's the thing. It's hard to know. I think it also is did you go as hard as you could have? Like Fun Hand Lotion, I didn't go as hard as I could have. Like the wall comp, I didn't go as hard as I could have. Would I have won those? No, I would not have won those. You could have me do the wall a million times. I never would have won the wall. I wouldn't have made it maybe 5 minutes further. But I did drop when I didn't have to. And I think people are incentivized to say that they threw, even if they didn't throw. Or people are incentivized to say that they didn't throw things, So it's hard to really be able to evaluate what did people throw, what didn't people throw, what would they have won, what wouldn't they have won.
Exactly.
That's always going to be a one if, a what if, any other shows that you'd want to go on? I know that, I mean, you're going back to work, so, but is there, you know, would you do the challenge? Would you do Amazing Race? I'm pretty sure you would do Survivor. Yes?
I would definitely do Survivor. I think the odds of this, I'm a very realistic person coming off these shows. So like, I don't think they're, you know, if I was asked to Amazing Race or Survivor, obviously I would love to do it. The challenge, look, I would really have to train for the next 2 years. Those people are strong now. Like, they are not messing around. Like, again, like I would come in, they'd be like, oh my God, she's 6 feet tall. And then I'd have to like compete, and I'd be like a wobbly worm, like, me out first. Like, so I'd really have to train for the challenge. But I'd never say
you won, though.
They probably would, and then I would really embarrass myself. And I don't know. I we'll see. But I don't really have a huge desire to do the challenge. Like I love like the game. Like I love the strategy and like the social aspect, and not necessarily like the physical component. But never say never.
Yeah.
Claire, I love this turtleneck you have on, and I want to ask, the smock that you had on in your photo, when you got selected, was that yours for real? Because your fashion sense was everything like postseason, and I was like, girl,
Not postseason.
that was not what she was wearing when she got on the show. Was that really yours?
So it was one of mine, but I wasn't planning on wearing it. I had a pantsuit that I really wanted to wear, but I was really thinking, what image do I want to project onto them? Like, so I wasn't mad that they had me in like my, like, you know, like, I think someone called it like a milkmaid outfit, because I wanted to be like the sweetheart, like the girl, you know, the nice girl, like
the girl next door.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't mad, but I definitely wanted to try to be like cool, like when I was going in. So I had a pantsuit, but it was green, so they didn't let me wear it for like whatever reason.
It kind of sucks too. I would say they took a lot of my stuff out too, and so you just don't realize.
Melissa was saying that,
anything that's sparkly, they take out. Anything with like weird lines, they take out. Anything with logos, they take out. And so then you're stuck with like probably maybe not even your favorite outfits, and you're just like, dang it, I can't wear any of this.
No, definitely not. Like I had very limited clothes. Also, I just didn't pack correctly. Like really, if anyone's ever going to be on the show, hit me up for a packing list.
No, but actually,
packing list out there, and you just need more comfortable clothes than you think that you're going to need. Like
I was barefoot almost the entire time. I know that sounds so disgusting, but I was barefoot the entire time. I did not need that many shoes in my bag.
Yeah, no, like, you need a pair of slippers, like, and that's it, like socks, like slides that you can walk around in. It's very hard to know what to pack, because you're like, I'll just wear dresses all the time, and then you
want to wear the same damn thing, and sometimes you have to wear the same damn and sometimes you have to wear the same damn thing, because it's like, can you change into the outfit that you were in your last DR? And it's like, oh, I should have just like worn this for the last 2 weeks. Were you in your first
she was
in your outfit, in your beginning outfit for like forever in a day?
She was.
Right?
You might not have a busy day.
Dress, that flower dress.
Yes, for 24 hours and clocking. She was wearing that.
I hated that outfit so much. I was like, oh my God, I can't take this off. Put something else on.
I feel bad because Busy like reads Julie on her outfits every eviction.
Every review, I have to look at Julie's outfit, and I was like, oh my God, can Claire take this thing off? Because this turtleneck today, you're giving me everything that I need. But I was like, I didn't call it a milkmaid outfit, but you said somebody else called it, and I feel like that fits. And I was like, can she please take this milkmaid off? Oh, please. I think she started off with it too.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a rough one. It was a rough one, but I don't think it's that bad. But I won't be busting it out. Like they really like they told me, they were like, we would like you to be like city fun, was like how I was told, like bring outfits that are city fun. And then I got there and they're like, did you bring any like leather jackets? And I'm like, no, I was planning on being in a house in LA for 3 months. So I did not pack
in the summer.
In the summer, like when it's 100 degrees out. Like I didn't plan for this stuff. I have this little prairie dress. How about that? Is that city fun? And they said, what else do you have? And I said, nothing. And they said, it'll be.
Oh, sorry, Claire.
Well, see, that leather jacket over the prairie dress would have made it city fun.
And she would have been sweating.
Exactly.
Yeah, you should have been like, well, can I borrow someone's leather jacket then? Just
seriously, I'm like, can you ask? Like, Brent probably has 5 of them. Like, but I just didn't know. And also, like, one thing, I don't know if you guys knew, they wouldn't let me wear heels on the first night. I like didn't bring any sandals. I didn't bring any flats. I only brought heels. And they told me, they were like, well, do you have any like flats? Like, do you have any sandals? And they actually went out and bought me flats. And I was like, okay, dang, everyone must just be wearing flats. And I went out, I walked out, and Alyssa has like 5-inch heels. Azza has 5-inch heels. Whitney has 5-inch heels. I'm like, wait, what the heck? Like, they didn't want me to be so much taller than all the guys. Like,
this is very I have very discriminatory vibes right now. This is just
it was,
you're representing for the tall girls.
You know, I would have loved to. I did wear heels a lot on the show, but I think, you know, it did benefit me. I could move more agilely. I didn't have to be barefoot. So, you know, it worked out. I won the comp. And then I wore those flats when I won Olive Shook, like my wild card comp. I wore those too. And then I was like, oh, these are the lucky shoes. So it all worked out.
Yeah. I had to ask because, you know, we said you were an alternate, and this will be one of our final, because we already went over. Oh my gosh,
sorry.
We already went over.
We don't know how to stay on this.
No, not on you.
You first of all, you
we
deserve
never
this.
shut up. So.
You first of all, you deserve this. Second of all, I just literally looked up at the clock and I was like, wow, we've already gone over an hour. So we feel bad for taking up so much of your time. Mm-hmm. But I want to say, like, after all of, you know, after everything, a postseason, you have been just so funny. Actually, all of you all have been very tongue-in-cheek with your posts, and, you know, all the love that you have for each other and stuff. And I noticed that the person that you took over, because you were an alternate, you know, who you were an alternate for, came to visit you after. So you got to meet Christina, right? Christine? Christy. Sorry, my bad. I'm sorry, she wasn't on the show. What the hell? I don't even remember her name. But I seriously, how awkward was that? You actually, I laughed because your post was like, shout out to COVID. Like, I was like, my queen, like.
No, I mean, it was weird because, like, I didn't know that all this had happened until I was off the show. Like, I knew I was an alternate, but, like, I didn't know that everyone knew that I was an alternate and that someone else you actually knew who I replaced. And so I got off and, like, people told me about it. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I would love to meet her. Like, she seems like a really cool person. And then we went out that night and someone at some point was like, oh, that's the girl you replaced. I was like, what? Who? And I think I was standing around with, like, it was like Derek and Azza and I were talking, and Derek said, I need to go talk to her. And he went sprinting off, DX, and he went sprinting off. And then I was like, oh God, like, I have to go, like, interrupt whatever's happening here. And so then I went over and I met her, and she was very nice. And I was like, I'm very sorry I took your spot. I'm really sorry about everything that happened. Like, that just really has to be so heartbreaking. And she was really, really nice. So it was very cool to be able to meet her, my alternate universe self, I guess, who would have been on the show.
You're awesome. Did you all take a picture?
Huh?
What was that?
Is there a photo? Did you all take a picture?
I think I had a photo and I posted it on my like Instagram stories or something.
I have to see it. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, there were pictures of her at the party. I mean, I think she once everything happened, she kind of made friends with some other BB people, and I'm pretty sure that they told her you know, everything. But she has been very, I mean, I could just imagine, you know, not making it on. But as well, like she wasn't a Big Brother fan that we know of. Like it was definitely a different story.
Yeah.
So the fact is that we really did luck out with such a super fan, and not just a super fan, but like a queen like yourself.
Yes,
no offense to her,
queens, which like I feel like is really Tiffany is the queen of the queens, but I will happily be like the king of the queens, I guess. The captain.
Hey, we don't even have to have the kings and the queens. I mean, like this can be a non-gender, aside. Like we are just all. I don't know what the.
Everyone
we're all
royalty.
Jury. That was my thanks, Brett. That's exactly what I was going to say. Both of you were royalty.
Oh,
exactly.
Nice.
That would be the technical thing. But
the gender neutral term.
The gender neutral term. But I was saying you were the queen of the queens because you actually developed
literally
queens.
were. Yeah.
You developed, and that's why I say queen of the queens. But yes, we thank you so much for being with us. Like seriously, stay for a little bit because we're gonna
talk your head off behind stage.
No, we're not gonna talk offline. To give you all some post BB content for later on. But for those of you who still have like remaining questions for Claire, sorry that we couldn't get to all of you. We would have had we saw a super chat, but click like and subscribe, click to receive notifications. This isn't going to be the first time, I hope, Claire, that you are on. We are going to be recapping. I'm assuming you're watching Survivor already. Are you going to watch Celebrity Big Brother? Are you going to be? Yes. So then you have to come.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Like, sometimes, sometimes Big Brother contestants don't ever get back into Big Brother, so some people become even more hardcore fans and other people just like drop off the face of the earth. So, that's why I like to ask, because we would definitely love to have you back when we recap some of these Celebrity Big Brother shows. We'd love to have you. So for all of the rest of you, we still have more people that we're going to be interviewing. We're going to be interviewing DX and Kyland on Tuesday, and Tiff is in the mix as well. We will have her in the middle. That's all happening, and I'm sorry I can't get these fast enough because after my birthday on Thursday, I'm like totally taking a week off, and then you follow us. How do they follow you, Claire? Tell everybody where they can follow you if they don't already.
You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Claire Rafus. That last one is REHFUSS, tricky last name. And I'll be posting things on there. I'm watching Survivor, so I'm always definitely posting on Wednesdays. But that's it.
Yes. So if you watch Survivor, she's good. I was following you through the whole Survivor series like this past week, and you just catching up, and I was like, yes girl, I'm still confused. Like, all of these just like everything just happening. I'm just like, okay, so now broccolis are trees and butterflies and sure, like ancestor. Cool.
Yeah, sure.
We'll figure it out.
So she has a cameo as well. I put that all in there. Y'all pay the girl. Get the girl to say something.
Some people have said that they've gotten some cameos of yours, and then I'm sure they're hilarious.
Yes. I like to think I'm playing the long game with the cameos. So cameos I'm sending out are pretty long. But yes, I am also on Cameo, which is a weird thing for me to plug, but that as well. At Claire Rafus, probably.
Yeah. I mean, people want long cameos. If you're paying for a cameo, don't get a 1-minute cameo.
Yeah, talk to me forever.
Yeah. Do you want someone who's going to be able to talk to you forever and ever?
Hey, Billy, thank you.
It's not that long. Let's not oversell it.
She's like, let's not oversell. She's like, let's not.
People are saying that your cameos are funny. And then you also had a DX cameo too. That you did.
He did buy a cameo mainly to haze me. I think it felt like I was like in a frat or something. But yes, the DX cameo is out there. He did leave me a nice review. I think he called me Bigfoot in it. So that review as well. 5 stars though.
Yeah.
Did you feel bad about that? Oh, sorry. I know we're done. But I want to know, did you feel bad about being called Bigfoot or the Jolly Green Giant or any of those terms?
No, trust me, I've been this height since I was in 5th grade. If you could call me something, I've already been called it. And I thought Bigfoot was like very nice in comparison to some of the other things or zings that they could have done. I was like, I'll take that. I don't really care at all.
I was very upset at your Claire Bear, but did you care for it?
I haven't really seen it. I think it's kind of scary, but I feel like it could have done better. I feel like it was like the basic, like someone was like Claire Bear, and they just ran with it, and that was maybe like the first choice. But I'm fine with it.
Yeah. So you haven't gotten your your box of things. I'm sure that they're going to be sending you the big old poster with your information. So I'm just like, I wanted so much more for you, but I mean, it was cute.
Yeah.
Except for those long claws. That was just like that. They were long. Did you I've never seen a bear with claws that long.
No, I don't know. Let me actually look what it is.
I
don't know.
Wait a damn minute.
Wait, hold on. Were these clear? They were pretty long.
Oh, interesting. I don't. It's kind of some Care Bear vibes. And I do enjoy a Care Bear.
Yes, and which I get. I like the Claire Bear, and the intent was there. I thought it was like, that's great, but then those long claws, I was just like, we could have done without that. Maybe something out. Maybe it was a copyright thing. Maybe I wanted to see something come out of the belly with sunshine and rainbows and making everybody happy, or like killing everybody. Yeah. I don't know, doing something, maybe evicting them one by one with your Care Bear stare. I don't know.
Come on, I would like that. Stare.
I would love that.
But okay. Oh my gosh. See, this is what we're not doing. This is what we do, and this is what we're not doing. So we love you all. Thank you, everybody, for who has been on this show, for your questions. Again, follow Claire, and we will see you all next week. Bye.